everyone, welcome back. My name is Emma. I'm a licensed realtor in Maine, and today I'm going to be going over the top mistakes that first-time home buyers make and how to avoid them. Buying your first home is exciting but full of traps that can cost you big time. Mistake number one is shopping before you know what you can afford. Falling in love with a home that you can't afford is a fast track to disappointment or debt. You should always get pre-approved first before you shop for any homes. Working with a lender will help you gauge what you can afford, what your best options are, what your payments might look like, and they can guide you through the whole process so that you don't feel like you're using all of your savings or you're putting yourself down into a hole that you can never climb out of. This is probably the most important step in buying a home. I always suggest working with multiple lenders to find what rates and what programs work best for you. It's all up to you. If you've already spoken to a realtor, they might have some lenders they've worked with personally that do a fantastic job. So if you've taken the step to talk to a realtor first, it never hurts to ask them for some recommendations if you're not already pre-approved. Mistake number two is forgetting about all of the hidden costs that are associated with buying a home and real estate in general. There's property taxes, closing costs, homeowners insurance, and things break. No house is ever going to be perfect, so when you move in, you have to expect to have a little bit of a buffer just in case things are broken. I always try and tell people to try and plan for 2 to 5% of the home's purchase price for closing costs. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. It kind of depends on the situation in the home specifically, what that seller might be offering to you as a buyer, etc. But that's something that you'll get into with your real estate agent throughout the process. Mistake number three is falling for the house and ignoring the neighborhood. A dream home in the wrong area can cause big regret. You and your real estate agent are going to want to look at crime rates, your commutes to work, school systems, and even noise levels at night if that's something that's important to you. I can't tell you how many times I've actually had to talk my buyers out of purchasing a property because it was an hour commute from work. We live in Maine. The roads are not very good in the winter, so it just really wasn't worth it for them. Mistake number four is so important, and I cannot stress this enough. It's skipping the inspection. A good home inspection can uncover very expensive problems. Septic issues, furnace issues, heat system, potentially even plumbing. You never know what you're going to run into. Again, not every house is perfect. Actually, no house is perfect at all. It's really important to uncover anything that might be hidden or that nobody really knew about, because being a first-time home buyer, you might not always have a ton of money to throw at things if you skipped your inspection and then you found out that you needed to replace the septic system, for example. Mistake number five is not using a buyer's agent. At the end of the day, the seller's agent works for the seller, not for you. You want to find somebody that's really going to have your best interest in mind, that can find homes for you, dig deeper into homes for you, that can refer you to contractors during the inspection period. Whatever it may be, you want someone that's going to be able to hold your hand throughout the process and really advocate and negotiate for you to not only get you the best deal possible, but to make sure that you don't get in any situation that's over your head. I know sometimes people's biggest concerns is cost, but in some situations, a buyer's agent can actually cost you nothing. So it may be 10 times more worth it to have your very own agent working for you. Number 6 is also a big one, and that's making big financial purchases before closing. A new credit card, a new car, a car loan, even switching jobs can mess up your mortgage pre-approval, so it's always best to make sure that you wait until after closing to go through with any of these big items. A good mortgage lender will have this conversation with you at the time of your pre-approval or while going under contract and making your loan application. But that is huge because deals can fall through if you decide to buy a brand new Lamborghini 2 days before closing. Mistake number 7 is getting too emotionally attached. Buying your very first home or just buying a home in general can be very stressful and emotional. And trust me, we understand that. But it's really important to push through these emotions and to really ground yourself in order to be in the best headspace so you don't end up over your head. And we'd never want you to end up overspending because of buyer's fatigue or because you decide that, you're just so overwhelmed with the process and want to be done with it. It is super important if you're feeling emotional or if you're struggling with the process, talk to a loved one or even talk to your realtor. A lot of people don't know, but sometimes we do double as therapists. The biggest thing about that is just putting your head over your heart. You really need to be able to think clearly throughout this process, and it is a lot more easier said than done, but it will work in your favor at the end of the day. Mistake number 8 is not understanding the documents that you're signing. You want to make sure that you understand your mortgage. You want to make sure that you understand what you're signing with your real estate agent. And trust me, especially as a buyer, there are a lot of documents that you have to go through throughout the process. If you're not understanding something, absolutely just ask questions, especially these days with being able to sign online. It's really easy to just click right through it and not pay attention to what you're signing, but that is very, very important. And that actually leads me into wire fraud as well. Wire fraud is a really big thing in the real estate industry right now. People are hacking into lenders' emails, agents' emails, title companies' emails, and getting buyers that don't know any better to basically wire thousands and thousands of dollars to these scammers, and then they never see that money, and it can really, really throw a wrench in the entire process. So make sure that you pay extra attention when sending money, signing documents, and just having a general understanding of everything you're signing. Mistake number 9 is only thinking short term. You want to think about the long-term investment that the home that you're buying will have. Maybe you find a cute 2-bedroom home that you really love, but also if you're a family of 3 and you're planning on having more children, that might not work for you long term, and you might run into having to sell and go through the entire process again. You want to make sure you're always thinking long term when you're purchasing a house. Think about the area, think about the school systems, think about the amenities and the closeness to your workplace, think about what it's going to be like driving in the winter, etc. You want to always think long term and not rush the process, because sometimes that house you fall in love with isn't always going to be the best option for you long term. Mistake number 10 is not looking into first-time home buyer programs. There are grants, there are low interest loans, there are down payment assistance programs. You just have to know where to look and make sure that you are doing your research. I know in Maine that we have Maine State Housing, which is a fantastic association where you pretty much have to take a class if you're under a certain household income, and you can get some pretty hefty grants and some pretty great assistance. Make sure that you look into that option before anything else. You always want to have that conversation with your realtor and your lender so that you know what your state has to offer for you, because trust me, it can get pretty expensive. Buying your very first home sounds really scary, but trust me, it does not have to be overwhelming. Get the right team behind you, avoid these mistakes, and ask lots of questions. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like some more information, there will be a link in my description where you can have an in-depth conversation with me. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out and give you some more tips and tricks. If you found this video helpful and you want to see more like it, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day, guys. Bye!